Good morning, everyone. It's Dr. Hodges, and I want to do a little Medscape Monday for you. I'm going back through some of my old, or yeah, I guess they are old, some of my older emails. There are a ton of resources out there from Medscape on obesity, and what today is all about is just sharing those with you. And so I kind of want to talk about GLP-1 use in muscle mass and potential muscle wasting. And what does the research really show? So, in January of 2026, this year, there was a commentary on some studies that were done looking at the effects of GLP-1s on muscle. And that's what that particular Medscape article was about. And what they were specifically looking at were, with traditional weight loss of any kind, you're going to have reductions of both fat and muscle. And we wanted to really see how proportional is muscle wasting. I hear from a lot of patients, they talk about Ozempic face and how real is that? What I have always kind of thought, and this study now shows that, is that your muscle loss is usually going to be proportional to your overall weight loss. But let's look at this. So they did some randomized trials and then a meta-analysis. And all a meta-analysis is that where you you look at a whole bunch of studies, and then you try to group those studies together so that you can have a much stronger overarching message to send out. So for instance, when you're doing a study, you want to make sure that your N, which is your sample size, you want that to be really large so that the results of your study can apply to as many people as possible. So it's interesting, you'll look at some of these studies and they looked at 20 people. Well, 20 people do not a good study make. And so the purpose of a meta-analysis is to look at a lot of studies and see if you can mush them together, do some statistics, and then make it a much stronger overall study. So that's what they were looking at. And what they saw was that across randomized trials and meta-analysis, reductions in lean body mass, in your lean body mass is all of the non-fat components of the body. This is muscle, bone, connective tissue, organs, water, okay? That's what lean body mass is. So when we're saying lean body mass and we're referring to this in a study, we're not only talking about your skeletal muscle, okay? Now, what they're showing is that you will have a reduction in your absolute muscle mass, and that is absolute muscle mass is only looking at your skeletal muscle, just the muscle that is attached to your bones. In that you will have reductions in your absolute muscle mass, and it appears to be the smallest when you take Saxenda, which is liraglutide, and that doesn't surprise me because you don't lose as much weight with Saxenda. And you have the largest decreases with semaglutide and tirzepatide, which is Wegovy and Zepbound. But I also think that that's proportional because patients generally will lose more weight with the extended release medications. And it says it's important to know that this is consistent with the expected response to any weight loss. And so it doesn't appear that you are going to lose more muscle when you do a GLP-1 as opposed to if you're just doing a diet without doing a GLP-1. That's essentially what these are saying. And what they also said, when lean mass is expressed as a percentage of body weight, GLP-1s generally show no significant change in lean muscle mass loss or even an increase from the baseline. So that suggests that muscle loss occurs proportionally along fat loss. And what they're also showing, though, is that muscle quality, which is your intramuscular fat content, your little mitochondria, the mighty mitochondria. That's how you learn it when you're in undergrad. Those are the little powerhouses that provide the energy. That's the engine in your muscles that give power. Your insulin sensitivity, your microvascular perfusion, meaning how many blood vessels, how strong is that muscle? What they're actually showing is that your muscle quality is a more meaning determinant of strength and physical function, and that GLP-1s help to preserve and improve your muscle quality despite small reductions in your overall muscle volume. So, what does that really mean? There was another large study that was performed looking specifically at tirzepatide. It was called the SURPASS-3 trial, and they wanted to look at muscle, like fat that was actually in muscle, and they wanted to look at overall loss. And what that study was showing is that you might have, and it agreed with what I'm just talking about, you might have a little bit of overall loss of muscle, but it's not any more than if you lose muscle from any other diet regimen. That's number one. And then number two, the muscle quality actually would improve when you use GLP-1s. So what does this all mean? This means that your Ozempic phase, that's because you're probably not doing everything you need to do. And you would probably have Ozempic phase, even if you were not taking Ozempic, but you were just still in a severe calorie deficit from not eating and from remaining in a calorie deficit for whatever reason, or however you want to achieve that, and then not doing the things you need to do. So what are the things you need to do? You need to make sure that within that calorie deficit, whether you get it with Ozempic or any other medication or no medication at all, you need to make sure that you're hitting your protein requirement. So what's your protein requirement? Take your weight in pounds and cut that number in half. So if you weigh 200 pounds, cut that number in half, that's 100. That's how much protein you need to be doing every day. That's a good ballpark figure. You got to meet your protein requirements, number one. And then you just need to be making sure that you're doing a multivitamin every day. That's number two. And then number three, you have to start doing some form of resistance training, period. Now, if you are very overweight, morbidly obese, you're not going to be able to go to a kickboxing class. I'm not asking you to do that, but you can get some rubber bands. You could even get, if you wanted, like 2 cans of like pinto beans in your hands and just do exercises, do some bicep curls, things like that. You can go to Amazon Prime. They have a number of free videos online that you can search for, and you can type in sit and be fit, and I promise you they are going to have exercise and strength training regimens for all levels, from beginners that have they don't even know where to start, they've never worked out, to people that are at the advanced stage. Okay, so but there is going to be some work on your part to find out what those are. So you need protein intake, you need vitamins, and you need to do some strength training, and that is how you can ensure that you will not have significant muscle loss when you're undergoing any medical weight loss program, and for that matter, any surgical weight loss program. So hope that this was helpful.